Lecture 6.1 Short Circuit. We're going to run a DRC check, and we're going to focus on the short circuit shown during the DRC. To do a DRC, go to Tools and click on Design Rule Checks. When you click and run, you may get more than 500 errors the first time. Now we're going to focus on the short circuits. If you click on the link, it will actually go and open the layout and point or zoom into the error. So in order to see more clear, I'm going to enable the top layer only, where the error is showing. So we need to see and take a look to the footprint to see how it is the part defined. So one trick you can do here, if you press the Control key and press the left key on your mouse, it will highlight the net. You need to know the symbol name in order to be able to open the symbol. After you get the part, you can get and see the footprint name. Open the footprint of the test point. In this case, we are going to focus just on the top layer. You can enable or disable layers clicking the L key on your keyboard. In this case, I just enable top and bottom. On the top layer, there is a shape that it is creating the error. In Altium, they call primitive. Just remove the shape and pick the size and shape of the path and modify the top layer to match the size of the shape that was there. This is in order to do not modify what the original designer was doing. So we are just going to replace the shape with the shape of the path without adding any other object. So now I'm going to enable the online DRC to get feedback when I do a change. So the next one to analyze is the strip. Let's go and take a look to the footprint. In this case, just enable top and bottom layer or the top and see if there is a shape that it is creating the error. So the error is showing because the shape is getting another net name. Any path that you define on the footprint, it gets the name from the connection on the schematic. So this shape didn't have any name associated or any net list. So when you open the PCB, those shapes didn't have any connections. The net is unknown. That's why you are getting like a short between nets, where you have two different nets connecting together. So that's why we are getting the error. So just remove all the shapes and adjust the size of all the paths to match with the shapes that it was defined originally. On the bottom side or bottom layer, there is also another shape. In this case, because we cannot do that shape with the path, we're gonna just add another path with the same rectangular shape. Make the path only on bottom layer and make it rectangular or a similar size as the shape you are gonna replace. In this case, we're going to measure the size and make the pad a similar size. Then in order to locate, you can play with the grid settings. There is also another feature in Altium. If you go to or press the L key, you can make all the lines or shapes as a draft. You can see through the lines. You can see the old lines. This might help you to locate better components. So select the part and do a find similar and remove all the shapes. After that, you need to select the new path and copy to all the other pins or paths. So you can do manually. Just press or select the component, press Ctrl C and select the origin. After that, you just click Ctrl V and paste one by one. But there is also another feature in Altium they call Smart Paste or array. In this case, you need to select the same component and paste the array. You need to know the pitch of the components for the path, and you need to specify the number of copies. In this case, I place also on the original pin 1, so that's why I get a duplicated pin 1. Just remove one of those pins and you will be safe. After you do the change, update your PCB layout. Save all your documents and run a DRC again. Well, the DRC problems, some of them is still there, so we are going to move to the next one. So the next one, it might be hard to find the first time. You can get details where or which parts are creating the problem, but sometimes it is hard to look at the problem or see which objects are creating. So when you move to the error and press the Shift B, you will get a more detailed report. On this case, we need to figure out or select the component. This time I'm going to use the old draft mode to see if there are some other objects on the background. In this case, I can see that there is TP8 or TP6 on the back. So we are going to go and select that component on the schematic. I just wanted to make sure which part or which footprint it is used on that part. So in this case, it's the test path or path SMD. I just go to the footprint library, select the component, and on this case I'm on single mode. So in order to see if there is something on the back, I just go to draft mode. So do you see that shape? We need to modify the path to match the shape. In this case, the size is the diameter is 40 and it's circular. So I just did the change and I'm gonna update the PCB. So if we go back to the PCB and run the DRC, we get some also errors. We need to look at where are they located. So in this case, it is another component we need to analyze. You can use the Control key and left click on the mouse to highlight the net. Then you notice that the dot shape on the middle didn't highlight it. That means that it has or it is connected to another net or it is floating. So if you go to the footprint of that part, you will notice that that shape is also made, it is made with a shape and not with a path. So in this case, because it might be complicated to draw with the paths or copy and paste some paths and try to do the shape, we're gonna modify the primitive on the parts on the layout. You just need to unlock the primitive and then double click and select the object. In this case it's the region. So do you notice that it has a connection for the same net and now it is connected? So let's analyze the next item or next component. So remember that you noticed when we went to the footprint and update the part, it was updating also the primitive. So in this case, we are going to try to do that without modifying manually. So if we just do and update the footprint to the library without changing anything on the footprint, we went back and select and it's fixed. So it looks like if we just update the libraries, it fixes all those problems. So let's try to do something different. So an example for this part, it is showing also some errors. Before going to the part and update the part itself, so you can update all the footprints on a single click. Just follow the video, update all the footprints, validate, execute, and doing this, all the footprints on your board are gonna be updated. So all the parts that have the same problem as the two items we checked before are gonna be fixed. So now we have 21 remaining short circuits. So in this case, there is something we need to take a look. You need to go to the design rules. You see that there is a rule that it is checking for same nets. We don't need that rule. Just delete that. Run again the DRC and see if we continue having shorts or errors. So in this case, it is showing an error on that footprint. Let's get the name and the footprint name and open the footprint. In that case, you see another shape that it is over the path. Click on all the shapes, delete them, select the remaining shapes and click F11. Go to the inspector and change the path size. You can also click on the shape and change for the octagonal to look similar to the original one. In this case, it's safe to change the shape of the path. Do and go and update the PCB and check for DRC again. So in this case, we have 18 more errors. Okay, now it looks that the errors are not shown on top layer. Let's move on into the bottom layer. On the bottom layer, do you see a net that it is called TPA, TP10 that looks like it is getting in short with a shape? So that shape is a polygon. You need to repull all the polygons in order to open or clear. So after you report, run the report again, and we finish. We don't have any more shorts.